So I got something super cool for you. Today on Afternoon Tales, I've been thinking about AI a lot lately, and I realized there's so many fascinating aspects we haven't covered yet. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm so excited to dive into this topic with you today. AI is evolving at such a rapid pace, and there are some really interesting angles we can explore. I've actually been doing a bunch of research on this lately, and there's so much cool stuff to talk about.
I've noticed something kind of weird when I use virtual assistants. Um, have you ever thought about why most of them have female voices? Is there a reason behind that?
Oh yes, that's actually a fascinating observation. So the thing is, female voices tend to be perceived as more welcoming and clearer for most users. Companies have found that people generally respond better to female voices in these assistants because they come across as more helpful and less threatening.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. Do you think there might be other factors at play too?
Definitely. Another factor worth considering is that there's still a relatively low participation of women in AI development teams, right? And this might actually influence these decisions in subtle ways. Like when teams are designing these systems, they might be unconsciously reinforcing certain gender stereotypes about who should be in service or assistant roles. It's really something the industry needs to address, you know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. Shifting gears a bit, I always thought AI was a pretty modern concept, but I heard something about ancient origins. Is that actually true?
Oh my goodness, yes. While we often think of Alan Turing as the father of modern AI, the concept of intelligent machines goes way back. In Greek mythology, there were stories about Hephaestus creating automatic servants, or automata, made of gold. These were essentially robots that could think and perform tasks, which is pretty mind-blowing for something imagined thousands of years ago.
That's incredible. So this idea has been around for centuries?
Absolutely. And it didn't stop with the Greeks. Medieval alchemists were also obsessed with the idea of creating artificial life or intelligence. They had this concept called the homunculus, which was like a tiny artificial human they believed could be created through alchemical processes. So the dream of creating artificial intelligence has really been with us throughout human history, just expressed through different cultural and technological frameworks.
I've been seeing a lot of art lately that was supposedly created by AI. How is that changing the creative landscape?
It's completely transforming it. AI is now capable of creating incredibly compelling art, music, and even literature. What's particularly interesting is how it's blurring the lines between human and machine creativity. We're seeing these amazing collaborations where human artists work alongside AI tools to create something neither could have made alone.
Does that change how we define creativity?
Oh, totally. It challenges our traditional notion that creativity is this uniquely human trait. Now we have to ask ourselves deeper questions about what it means to be creative. Is creativity about the process, the intention, or just the final product? And when an AI creates something beautiful that moves people emotionally, what does that tell us about the nature of art itself? It's really forcing us to reconsider some fundamental assumptions about creativity and expression.
I read something recently about robots that can, repair themselves. That sounds like science fiction to me.
It does sound like science fiction, but it's actually happening right now. Thanks to advances in AI and materials science, we now have robots that can detect when they're damaged and initiate self-repair processes. Many of these systems are inspired by biological healing mechanisms, like how your skin repairs itself after a cut.
How exactly does that work?
So these robots have sensors throughout their bodies that can identify when something's not working properly. Some use what's called soft robotics, with special polymers that can fuse back together when heated. Others have modular designs where they can reconfigure themselves to work around damaged parts. There was this amazing project at a university in Europe where they created a robot that could recognize when one of its legs was damaged and then teach itself to walk differently to compensate. It's really incredible stuff.
That's mind-blowing. Speaking of incredible stuff, I keep seeing headlines about massive investments in AI startups. What's driving all that money?
The investment landscape for AI startups is just absolutely booming right now. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars being poured into this sector globally. Investors see AI as this transformative technology that's going to disrupt pretty much every industry you can think of.
Which industries are seeing the biggest impact?
Healthcare is definitely one of the major ones, with AI improving everything from diagnosis to drug discovery. Financial services is another huge area, where AI is revolutionizing fraud detection and algorithmic trading. And agriculture is seeing some really exciting applications too, with AI optimizing crop yields and reducing resource usage. But honestly, it's hard to find an industry that isn't being transformed by AI in some way. That's why investors are so eager to get in early on these startups. They recognize the massive potential for returns as these technologies mature.
I always assumed AI was super expensive and only for big companies. Is that still true?
Not at all. That's one of the biggest changes in recent years. AI has become remarkably accessible even for smaller businesses. Cloud-based AI solutions have really democratized access to these powerful tools. You don't need to build your own infrastructure or hire a team of data scientists anymore.
That sounds promising for small business owners.
Absolutely. Platforms like DataRobot and others have made it possible to implement AI solutions with minimal technical expertise. A small retail business can now use the same kind of recommendation algorithms that giants like Amazon use. Or a local healthcare provider can implement diagnostic support tools similar to what major hospitals have. It's really leveled the playing field in a lot of ways, and we're seeing amazing innovation coming from smaller companies because of this accessibility.
Let's talk about healthcare specifically. How is AI changing medicine?
Oh my goodness, in so many ways. AI is completely transforming healthcare, from how we diagnose diseases to how we develop treatments. One of the most exciting areas is in medical imaging, where AI can detect patterns in X-rays, MRIs, and other scans that might be missed by human eyes.
Are there other applications beyond diagnostics?
Tons! AI is enabling truly personalized medicine by analyzing a patient's genetic information, medical history, and even lifestyle factors to tailor treatments specifically for them. In drug discovery, AI is dramatically accelerating the process of identifying potential new medications by simulating how different compounds might interact with disease targets. And in surgery, AI-enhanced robots are giving surgeons capabilities that go beyond human limitations in terms of precision and steadiness. It's really revolutionizing every aspect of healthcare delivery and research.
That's amazing. What about space exploration? I imagine AI must be pretty useful there too.
Absolutely critical. Space exploration is actually one of the perfect applications for AI because of the extreme distances involved. When we send rovers to Mars, for example, there's a communication delay of several minutes each way, which makes real-time control from Earth impossible for many tasks.
So the rovers need to think for themselves?
Exactly. The Mars rovers use AI to navigate and make decisions autonomously. They can identify interesting geological features, avoid hazards, and even decide which data is most valuable to send back to Earth. And for deep space missions where communication delays can be hours or even days, AI becomes even more essential. It's also helping astronomers analyze the massive amounts of data coming from telescopes and other instruments, identifying patterns and phenomena that might take humans years to discover. AI is really becoming the backbone of modern space exploration.
I've heard about something called predictive maintenance. What is that exactly?
Predictive maintenance is this really cool application of AI that's saving industries billions of dollars. Basically, it uses AI to predict when equipment or machinery is likely to fail before it actually happens, allowing companies to perform maintenance only when it's needed rather than on a fixed schedule.
How does that work in practice?
So imagine you've got sensors on industrial equipment collecting data about vibrations, temperature, sound, and other parameters. AI algorithms analyze these patterns and can detect subtle changes that indicate a component is starting to wear out or malfunction. In energy production, for example, this could mean identifying a turbine part that needs replacement before it causes a costly shutdown. In transportation, it might mean detecting when an aircraft component needs maintenance before it affects flight safety. It's really transformative because it minimizes downtime, extends the life of equipment, and significantly improves safety in critical infrastructure.
Last but not least, how are businesses using AI to maximize their profits?
This is where things get really interesting from a business perspective. Companies are leveraging AI in incredibly sophisticated ways to optimize their operations and boost their bottom line. Netflix, for instance, uses AI not just for recommending shows, but for determining which content to produce in the first place.
What about other industries?
Oh, there are examples everywhere. Retailers like Amazon use AI for dynamic pricing, adjusting prices in real time based on demand, competitor prices, and even weather patterns. In agriculture, AI is analyzing soil conditions, weather forecasts, and crop data to determine the optimal time for planting and harvesting, significantly increasing yields. Financial institutions use AI for risk assessment and portfolio management. Even traditional manufacturing companies are using AI to optimize their supply chains and production processes. The common thread is that AI allows businesses to make more informed decisions faster than humans ever could, and that translates directly into higher profits and competitive advantage.
Wow, it seems like AI is really touching every part of our lives and economy.
It absolutely is. And we're still just at the beginning of this revolution. The next few years are going to bring even more amazing applications as the technology continues to advance and become more accessible. It's honestly one of the most exciting times to be following technology and its impact on society.
Well, this has been incredibly enlightening. Thank you for sharing all this knowledge with our listeners on Afternoon Tales today. I feel like I understand AI so much better now.
It's been my pleasure. And for our listeners who want to learn more about any of these topics, there are some great resources out there. AI is changing our world in profound ways, and staying informed about these developments is so important. Thanks everyone for joining us today on Afternoon Tales, and we'll catch you next time for another fascinating conversation.